Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning
What's wrong
here.
with your face?
What do you mean what's wrong with my face? What's wrong with your face? That's not how you started it.
No, because
At least you did say good morning first.
You startled me a little bit because I know that you have hair loss on top of your head, but I didn't know it spread to your face now too.
Oh, I shaved. I shaved like a week ago. But that's right. I was on vacation, so we didn't have a podcast last week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why. I was like, this is not new to me, but it is new to you. Yeah, I did shave. I did shave my face. It was getting a little bushy, too
Yeah.
much for me and out of control, and I couldn't really contain it. And so I just, I hit that.
Yeah.
point, and I was just
Maybe
like,
don't
that's
do
enough.
that all the way next time.
No, it's fine. I think it's fine. I think you get used
Yeah.
to it. I'm used to it now. At first, I had the same reaction as you
Yeah.
did. The right afterwards, like, shouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
Looks terrible. It looks like a naked dog.
Instant regret.
Yeah, and it's like, shouldn't have done this. And but now I'm starting to get used to it. It's just because you're so used to seeing me with a beard.
It is. Yeah. It was
It
like
is
when
so
Jared
strange.
shaved his off, I was like, please don't ever do that again.
Yeah, but now you like it, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. He grew it back.
He grew it back. Okay, gotcha. And so now you can't ever do it again. All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hey, we've got lots to talk about this week. I have some very fun things to discuss. One of those things is, have you ever, and crazy shit your kid did, I've got something I want to talk about. Have you ever had to beg your kid to unlearn something that you taught them? Because
Possibly.
I
could
found
probably
myself-
recall a time or two.
Yeah, I found myself in that position today, so we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. It's Flip a Street or Make It Weird, episode 17. Welcome. Yes, we are on episode 17, which is hard to believe. Thank you for liking and following and listening wherever you do that. Of course, on YouTube, Flippin' Street or Make It Weird. On Instagram, at Flippin' Street or Make It Weird. And just search Flippin' Street or Make It Weird wherever you listen to your podcast. Amazon, Apple, Spotify.
All the things.
All the places. We love you and we thank you for listening for that. We forgot to do this last week. I can't believe, or 2 weeks ago. We forgot to start with our good news. We were so excited about whatever it is we were talking about last week that that we completely forgot to do our good news like we always do. So let's make sure we do it today. Focus on the good stuff going on in the world. I mean, that's what it's all about, is focus on positivity. And so what's today's good news, Flip?
That's right. The positivity and the kindness that happened in Ashland, Oregon. There was a mysterious donor, anonymous donor, that made a stunning $890,000 contribution to the Ashland School District, leaving the community in awe. And this anonymous benefactor, moved by the district's financial struggles they've had recently, their staffing shortages, decided to give the funds through the Ashland Schools Foundation. And of the total, just about all of that, $850,000 will support the district's budget, and $40,000 will fund some student groups aimed at, fostering different things. But the generosity sparked an outpouring of gratitude from students who have now flooded the district with heartfelt thank you cards.
Oh, that's cool.
And the superintendent described the response as heartwarming, and he noted that the donation, it's already inspired different acts of kindness throughout the community. So this one thing has, just catapulted into other good things happening around
and
the
that
community.
is why you be kind. You should be kind to other people, because it's not just the little act of kindness that you do to to somebody else, but it's what continues on, that ripple effect that happens afterwards. It's what is amazing about that.
Yeah.
And by the way, I love it when people do things like that anonymously. Wow, that was such a positive story that you just shared there just seconds ago, not 4 minutes ago, and we didn't have any audio troubles in between. That was amazing. That immediate,
so good
response that I am having to whatever it is you were talking about, because I forgot. No, we had some audio issues a second ago. We edited that portion out because it ended up taking a little while, but we're reconnected again. Welcome back. Those on the video side of things, unfortunately, had to suffer and listen to our troubleshooting there, but that's okay. But hey, no, that was really what I was about to say was, I love people who make donations like that. You were talking about this donation that someone made to a school district. Where was it? Minnesota? Where?
It was Ashland, Oregon.
Ashland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Anonymously, completely anonymously. And I just think that's the best kind of giving.
Yeah.
And I'm not putting down, if you want to give and you want some sort of recognition for that, I'm not putting that down. That's better than not giving.
Yeah, not necessarily, but it shouldn't be about you.
No,
right?
it shouldn't.
It's about the donation and the people that you're helping.
But if that is what it takes to make you give,
feel good about it.
I'm not going to
do more.
Yeah, I'm not going to put
true.
you down over that. I mean, I understand there's I can't judge you based off that. But you're right. Anonymous giving is just the best. It's the best.
I agree.
And that's really cool. And you see what it inspired. And who knows,
Ripple
like
effect.
what could have happened? Like, because that person was anonymous, they could have received some sort of kindness back.
Yeah.
From something they started, and nobody knew that they just gave that kindness back to the person who started the whole thing.
Yeah, that's true. It's like that old Clay Walker song, "Don't let the chain of love end with you."
Don't let the
you
chain
gotta keep it going.
of love.
Yeah.
What was in that song? There was a waitress, right?
The waitress.
The waitress started. Is that what started? The guy left the tip.
Yeah.
I can't
left
remember the
tip,
full song.
And then the tire changing on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And then,
oh my gosh,
it
that
was
was a
like
great
a whole,
song.
and it ended up being like he got in bed with
the waitress at the end of the night, right?
It
was like
with
the
husband.
Waitress. Yeah.
And so it was like the whole chain.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. That song, just talking about it gives me chills. I remember that song.
I know.
That song used to
That's
give me
one
chills.
of the best songs.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yep.
All right, let's go right into things that are less awesome, less kind of just more idiotic. It's time for That's So Florida. I've got a really interesting one, and I really am excited to talk about because it happened at a place where I spent a lot of my summers.
Oh dear.
Lake of the
Chincoteague?
Ozarks. No,
Oh.
well, okay. So Chincoteague is where I spent a lot of summer vacations. That's true.
Yeah.
But like just little weekend trips because it was it was 2 hours from where I lived in Missouri.
Yeah.
And we used to drive down there and go, spend the weekends at the lake, as did so many people.
Right.
Well, these guys, it sounds like we're trying to do the same thing, but anyway, so these guys, they were trying to find directions to Osage Beach, Missouri, which is part of Lake of the Ozarks. So they thought that the best course of action was to pull over and ask another driver how to get there because they were lost, right? So they pull over, ask this other vehicle, hey, how do we get to Osage Beach, Missouri? And the driver of the other vehicle kindly informed them that they were already in Osage Beach, Missouri, that they were not lost. They were right where they were supposed to be. And the guys were like, oh, this is great.
Okay.
And so naturally, they were thrilled. The guys who asked for directions like, we're already here. This is fantastic. We thought there'd be a beach and maybe a better body of water, but no, that's just Lake of the Ozarks. It's born to disappoint. But no, that's neither here nor there. What the two guys didn't know is that the car that they stopped to ask directions from was a police canine unit. And during this time, when these guys were asking these people for directions, the canine was like, sniff, sniff. What is that?
Ooh.
What's that smell? Smells a little bit like I can't put my finger on it.
Skunk?
No,
Skunk?
no, it's not that. No. It's methamphetamine. That's what it is. Yeah.
Oh.
And so the dog's like, hey y'all, those guys, they're asking for directions, smell a little methy. And so he started whatever, barking or whatever they had to do. So needless to say, they were given new directions, and that was to the Osage Beach jail.
I feel like that was probably the first red flag, or it should have been, is anyone asking for directions in 2025.
Yes, you're right.
Someplace.
You're right. It's like you don't have a phone. You don't have
it's
GPS.
Not
use a
1950.
map.
You don't have to stop at the gas station and ask somebody how to get there. Just look it up.
That's true, unless you're on meth.
Unless that.
So that's the reason. You're right.
Point.
That's that's it. So anyway, so that's our nice. It reminded me of Florida, but it was a nice Missouri story, which seemed to be coming out more. Like I'm almost like Missouri is starting to be the Florida of the Midwest.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
It really is becoming that.
Pennsylvania is the Florida of the North.
Yes.
We got California is the Florida of the West.
And then
I
Missouri.
think we've got it all covered.
Exactly. The Midwest, Florida. So there's been a lot of morons coming out there. What did you bring to the table today?
I am bringing a post office employee who was just sentenced to 5 years in prison after admitting to stealing checks worth over $24 million. You
talked about this on the radio show
from
this
the
week.
mail. Yes. So she had just apparently stolen these, like swiped them, whether they were going in or coming out, and she was selling them online. I had no idea there's like a place for this.
That's
online,
what I'm wondering. Like, can you buy checks on eBay?
Right. I'm like,
somebody
what's
else
the
has
website
stolen
for this?
checks? Yeah, where do you get?
Over $12 million in stolen checks were posted online, and more than $8 million in stolen U.S. Treasury checks vanished in the process.
Wow.
So she had a couple of co-conspirators with her, too. They got some prison time, and they've also been ordered to pay $133,000 back in restitution because, that's totally going to make up for the
that's
tens of
it?
millions
Yeah, I was
going to
say, it's like millions. Wait, that's a good question. Did people end up cashing those $12 million in checks, or did she just end up selling them? Did she steal them and not sell them all?
It
or
doesn't
why only
say that
133,000?
I don't know. That's just the restitution that she's having to pay.
I have a lot more questions about this.
I know. There's so many
Mainly
questions.
also, too, I've got a couple of missing checks.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if she was involved, and if so, I'll give you 10 cents on the dollar for the check. Like, if I could get it back faster, because I've asked the people to reissue the checks, and it's taken months so far.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have some of my money than none of my money.
Yeah. So if you've got some checks that you're missing in the mail, somebody might be
send me the link
selling
to the
it
website.
online there.
I'll give you 10 cents on the dollar for my own check to be returned
I'm not
back
Googling
to me.
that on mine. Or you can Google
I'm not
it on
Googling
yours.
it on mine. No way. No way. I don't need that kind of trouble in my life. Golly.
That could be on your search history.
No way. No, thank you. Elon show up at my door and
I know. We don't need Doge banging on my door. Let me tell you.
I don't need that. All right. So that's crazy, though. I mean, I didn't even know that was a thing. And now, I'm worried about sending checks in the mail. And
I know.
I thought you weren't supposed to send cash in the mail. They're like, always send a check.
Right.
You can't send cash.
Right.
And now it's like, don't send checks.
Yeah.
Don't send checks or cash.
Now,
don't make any money.
Right.
Live in a box. What do you want us to do? Don't use Venmo. People hack your Venmos.
Right.
Don't use everything. Don't use Bitcoin because
start using Monopoly money, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what to do. Speaking of Bitcoin, we talked about this a little bit on the show this week in our What the What. This is wild.
Oh, that guy.
This guy in Wales. He claims that his girlfriend back in 2013 accidentally threw a hard drive in the trash.
Accidentally.
And on that hard drive, there is a fortune. There was a bunch of Bitcoin that at the time was worth something, but not a lot.
Right.
But now he claims that fortune is worth over $700 million, which could be it could be.
I mean, it could be.
Because Bitcoin went poof since the very beginning. So like if you had held on to some of those, you would have a fortune. I know that my cousin is one of those people that I guess I don't understand Bitcoin a lot. I think you mined it.
I don't either.
Somehow. And then at the time he's like, whatever. And he bought like video game characters with it.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, yeah, whatever. And that's what he did with it. And then later on, he's like, if I had held on to those Bitcoins, I don't quite understand. I think that's what happened. That's kind of the way he explained it to me. Yeah. I don't really understand.
I mean,
Bitcoin
that's what we
much.
said about Beanie Babies back in the day too.
That's true too.
But
I think it's kind of real. I don't know. Anyway, so this guy back in 2013 says his ex-girlfriend threw away his hard drive, and now it's worth about $700 million. So what he is doing, he has been fighting the city for years.
12 years? How?
For years, he's been fighting the city, trying to get access to this landfill that he believes his hard drive is in.
Oh my gosh. You're going to dig through 12 years of trash.
Yes, which, by the way, they've calculated to be about 100,000 tons of trash to find his hard drive. He's been petitioning to get access to the landfill. They say no. Well, now he's learned that they are interested in selling their landfill, and he wants to buy it. He has now put together a team of investors that want to buy this landfill, betting on the fact that if they buy the landfill for, X amount of dollars, and they find this hard drive worth $700 million, that they could have a return on their investment.
Oh my gosh.
So that is what's happening now in Wales. And that is a real thing that somebody believes it's going to do. My thing is how long is it going to take you to weed through 100,000 tons of trash? Bitcoin could be back down again, but how depressing would that be?
I know.
Is if they spend all this money, they go through.
Lose money.
Yeah, and then you spend all this money doing this, and at the end of it, all you have is a shitty hard drive that's 13 years old and a bunch of trash that now you have to deal with. A piece of landfill.
Oh, and probably some disease from going through all the...
exactly. All the rubbish.
Gosh.
Is what they call it. So anyway, so that's this guy's plan. That's his plan to try and get to this hard drive.
Okay.
We'll see how it works out for him.
Landfill as an investment property. That's a first.
Actually, what's interesting is I know that I think some people do that. I think people build on them now.
Really?
I don't want to say that's 100% true, but I think I heard some people building some stuff on. Like they end up packing it down and they build stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's houses, but I don't think you'd want to live on it.
No.
But anyway, interesting. What'd you bring for What the What today?
So I brought a new fear unlocked for me because, I like to cook. I cook almost every night. And I saw this where a woman's attempt to cook arroz caldo, which is like a Filipino chicken rice porridge kind of thing.
Good.
Took an unexpected turn when a tiny onion splinter, didn't even know there was such a thing, tiny onion splinter lodged in her thumb, causing a serious infection.
Oh my God.
And after her arm swelled and she showed red streaks all over it, she sought medical attention and doctors removed the splinter, prescribed her some antibiotics to get rid of the infection. Thankfully, the arroz caldo was still delicious despite the kitchen mishap. But oh my God, an onion splinter?
I've never heard of such a thing.
No, I didn't know there was such a thing.
Making you cry in more than one way these days.
Apparently.
Little sons of bitches. Hate those onions. There's nothing worse than, first of all, there's nothing worse than an unidentified onion, like one that has not been pre-identified in your meal. I don't mind onions as long as they are
going in.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I want to know that there's going to be an onion.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I hit a weird crunch like an onion or something when I'm eating. I immediately think roach. I don't know about you. I think cockroach because they have the same consistency. Not that I've ever crunched into a roach, but that's my fear. That's my fear. So like sometimes when there's some establishments that don't announce that they're going to put onions in their chili recipe, and I hit one of those crunches and I'm like, oh no, it's a roach.
Well, usually they're cooked. Like they're softer.
Usually. That actually, So anyway, so that's one way I hate onions. Next way is when you cut them and they make you cry.
Oh my gosh. I did that the other night. I think I was making spaghetti and I was cutting them to put in the spaghetti sauce. And Jared walked in and I'm just like patting my eyes with the paper towel. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm cutting onions.
What's wrong? You really thought
He thought something was seriously wrong. I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
No, I swear.
So where did this splinter come from? Did it come from the outer layer, the outermost,
question.
like the little peel away
Stand by.
layer of the onion, or did it come from the main, the main rooty part of the onion?
So where?
Which layer do we need to be most cautious about of this onion?
Yes.
Which one is trying to attack us?
From the woody stem / root of an onion.
The woody stem.
So I guess the parts on the outside.
So this is like a super raw onion. Raw onion with stem. What does that look like? Let's see.
It's like the little things that you have to cut off on the ends, I think is
the
what
little
it is.
green stalk. Like sprouted onions. Is that what the stem is?
It's like little nubs on the end of the onion.
I'm looking at that. I'm looking at it. Yeah.
When you cut it off, I think that's where they're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the stem, and then that's the root. Okay. So it's not the little purplish thing you peel off.
No, it doesn't look like. It literally looks like a splinter.
Little splinter of the.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. So it's just like wood. So it's just a wood.
Just inside there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
What are the solutions to making sure you don't get an onion splinter? You give up onions.
Don't cook with onions.
That's number one. That's the easiest. I like to be a problem solver.
Right. Yeah.
And so I always like to look at, okay, so now what are all the possible solutions? The easiest solutions, give up onions. If you could say street or flip. I don't want to give up onions. I love onions. Okay.
Right. I do.
Hire a personal chef.
Okay.
For the rest of your life.
Too. Mm-hmm.
Then anytime you need an onion.
Yeah.
In fact, that could be their only job. If you enjoy every other aspect of cooking,
onion,
then you just hire a personal
remover.
Correct. Have them build an extra room in your house. Make sure it has all the appropriate things to make sure that they can have and your chef can live in.
I think so.
I think they only cost these days maybe $70,000, $80,000 a year.
I mean,
you could probably get, especially if all they're doing is cutting the onion, for you.
Fair enough.
So that is probably the next easiest solution.
Right.
Giving up.
I mean, with all the money we're making from this podcast, I think we could both hire one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, do we really need to? Could we not share one onion cutter?
We'll go in halvesies.
I mean, we might have to purchase them a car so they could get from my house to your house anytime they need to cut an onion for you or for me. By the way, they're going to live in my house.
Are they?
Yeah, I don't think you cut enough. Well, actually, wait, you probably do cut more onions than we do.
I mean, I
We
cook
cut a lot
more
of
than you do.
Yeah. That's right. And I can easily give up onions. You don't have
Part-time.
many
We'll
things.
do like
if you're not
week
allergic
on,
to
week
onions,
off.
right? You're not allergic to
No,
so you
I'm
can't
not.
you can't afford to give up anything else.
I can't.
You're
I can't
allergic
afford
to
to
so
give it up.
much. You need the onion in your life. So the only solution for you is is that. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that we figured that out. See, problem
that's
solvers
logical.
here today.
Yeah, there you go.
You go ahead and start looking on Indeed. See if you can find is that where you find chefs? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know
not
anything
sure.
about personal chefs. All right. I've got some interesting things that the kids were up to. Like I said, I started this morning.
Oh yeah.
Asking you if you've ever had to beg your kid to unlearn something. So the other day we're out to dinner and talking about a project that we have going on. And this is Brittany and I chatting this. The kids, I think, are doing their own thing. The boys are kind of chatting with Luna. I know. I do think.
Okay.
And so we've got some people working for us, and they texted to say, like while we were at the dinner, they texted us to say that they were not going to show up the next day because it was going to be raining outside. And Brittany and I both kind of looked at each other because we're like, the job's indoors. And so we weren't quite sure how to respond to that. It was really weird. We're like, of course we're trying. So we're listing off all the reasons. We're like, why would this stop that? Why would the rain outside prevent them from helping us with the inside job? And we're like, okay, so they have to cut things. Like there's a couple things. We could kind of see.
Maybe logical.
Yeah, that may, but like most of it not. We're like, that's a really kind of out there for that.
Right.
So anyway, so Luna at the time happened to be singing Itsy Bitsy Spider while Brittany and I were discussing this. She loves to just sing all the time. So she's singing that song. And so I jokingly, as she's singing, I was like, more like, Itsy Bitsy project probably won't get done because when down comes the rain, all the workers, they just run. And then and just being a smart ass.
Yeah.
And I was doing that. And so we laugh about it. She's like, oh my God, whatever. Brittany's like, oh my God. And we go about our dinner. Next day, the workers are back after the rain. This is true. This is like the rain ends at like noon, and at like 1, the workers show up. Mm-hmm. And they're working inside, and I'm just like, I'm not even saying anything, whatever. But Luna is in the background, and she starts singing my version of the song.
No.
My version of the song. Like I sang it one time, completely off the cuff, at a restaurant while other things were happening. I thought, no way she was paying attention. And how does she relate it to the workers? And they show up, and she starts singing the song, and she's away from them. Thank God. But I'm like, oh my God, I have to stop this because I'm like, no. That was just you heard me wrong. You heard me wrong.
Us.
I was not. That's not the words I was saying. How do I retrain this right now? The workers, they have fun. The win the rank of the workers, they have fun, I said. The itsy bitsy spider, itsy bitsy workers. I said it wasn't they just run. They have fun. And that's what I was singing. So it's like I was trying to retrain what she heard.
Did she buy it?
No. But she did lose interest in everything I was saying very quickly.
Yeah.
So she just went on to something else. So that was good.
Okay, good.
Because as soon as I start singing something that she likes, she's like, yeah, you just made it uncool. And now it's time to go do something else. So
redirect.
Yeah, redirect it. So anyway, so that was my fun thing. Had to still try to make sure it's retrained out of her system. What have your kids been up to?
So I might have to, speaking of retraining, I might have to retrain Jace on how to act around other people. Because we were in Walmart, Sam's Club, I don't know, one of the stores the other day. And we're going down one of the aisles, and it's pretty packed in there. Like, this is, a day or so before Valentine's Day, and so there's everybody in there trying to get things, and all of a sudden he just starts going, and I look at him, I'm like, what are you doing? And he does it again. He's like, I'm like, are you growling? Yeah. He's like shaking his head, yeah. And then he just starts doing it. And then we keep, going down the aisle, and he just starts looking at people and going,
growling. Wait, does he watch Paw Patrol?
Sometimes. He likes Bluey better.
Bluey? Oh, see, either way, these dog shows. That's so funny because Luna.
These dog shows, yeah.
No, seriously. I swear, Luna likes to pretend that she's a dog because of these shows now. And so she'll be out there too in public places and going. And I'm like, what do people think? What do other people think that we're training our kid to be is she being raised by animals?
Right. Well, and see, the thing is, yours talks. Mine still doesn't talk yet.
Oh, that's true. Jace doesn't talk, so all he does is growl.
And so all he's doing is growling, and these people are like, oh, you're so cute. How old are you? And he's just like...
See, it's funny because that fits Jace's personality entirely for me.
I know.
Like everything that I know about Jace, that fits perfectly. I could just see him doing that honestly for a long time, maybe for the rest of his life.
Yeah, it was definitely the entire time, just about. We're in the store.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. I would love to be able to get away with that as an adult.
I know. I'm like, at what point does it become inappropriate to just have like a meltdown in public, or to just, growl at people that you don't like or do like, or whatever? Just communicate that way.
Communicate that way. Mainly like, I think growling, obviously, so dogs use growling as a warning. Mm-hmm. It's not that they don't like you. It's not even dogs that do like you may growl if you accidentally step on their tail, or, it's like, they're like, hey, hey, it's just a warning. They're like, hey.
Yeah, it's a warning shot.
I don't like that. Mm-hmm. Please stop.
Right.
That's all they're asking, right? So if we translate that to the grocery store as humans, right? And you're there looking at the different options you have for cheese. You're trying to decide what kind of cheese you want, right? Uh-huh. and you are being respectful and you're standing back from the cheese a little bit, knowing that you're taking a little bit longer to evaluate, right?
Yeah, don't want to get in people's way.
Don't want to get in people's way, right?
Yeah.
And then someone comes and stands right in front of you to do their evaluating, right? You leave that space for people that already know what they want.
Yeah.
Go in and grab and move out of the way quickly. That's why you leave that space between you and the shelf.
Right. Yeah.
Not for someone else to come up and evaluate.
Stand in front.
In front of you.
Yeah.
That's an appropriate place for a growl.
Okay.
It doesn't mean you dislike that person. You just,
okay.
So if they this is me.
Right.
Here's the cheese.
Uh-huh.
Here's somebody else.
Uh-huh.
They start standing there. They linger a little too long.
Yeah.
And that's when you can go. And you see what they do. See what they react. I think they will understand that at that point.
Yeah, surely
they
will.
Be lingering in front of the cheese. Or wherever it is. Now, clearly, this is a theatrical performance of it. That could be the eggs. It could be the bread.
Right.
It could be the jelly.
Yeah.
Wherever, cereal. Whatever it is. By the way, everybody is aware of that rule, right? The grocery store rule.
Not everybody.
No, clearly not everybody.
It's like roundabouts.
It does happen.
People just don't know how to act sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. But the majority of people, that if you stop to try and decide what it is you need from a specific section of the grocery store, you do not stand directly in front of that section, especially if it's a highly used section like the cheese. Now, if you're in the what's that aisle that's like
gluten-free?
Yeah, that one. That's not frequented that much.
You say that, but the other day I was there and this guy walked up in front and he was older. I was not going to growl at him or anything. He was an elderly man. And he walked up in front of me as I was back a little bit looking at the different gluten-free things because they only have this one tiny little section in Walmart.
Yeah.
And I was looking, he walks up right in front of me and starts like pulling things off the shelf and reading the ingredients and stuff. And I'm just looking like
I'm right here. Are you invisible?
And it was like right there where I wanted to go, where I needed to get the stuff off the shelf. And he was like right there, but I didn't want to be like, excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Well, did he say, excuse me?
No,
exactly.
It's like he's like I didn't even exist.
That's a growl. That's a growl. You should have growled.
I'm not gonna growl at an old man.
And then,
but I try to always be aware of other people. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize my buggy was in the middle of the, whatever. But it's like I always try to be aware of people around. And, if somebody like barely pulls up by me, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Am I in your way?
Yeah.
Usually I'm not, but I always feel like,
Yeah, you can linger in front of the raw beans, by the way. I've never seen anybody actually purchase raw beans.
Right. Raw beans.
I
don't.
The ones that are solid in the bags.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the green beans. Yeah,
yeah, like the raw beans that are like solid beans and there's nothing to, like, I don't understand that. So
canned
anyway,
beans.
Yes, I don't see people there. You can linger there all you want. Decide what kind of beans you want for hours right away.
Right.
But, if you're in front of the busy sections, apparently like the gluten-free section in Walmart, but that's because it's so tiny.
Yeah.
I shop at the foo-foo stores where there's like a whole aisle dedicated to gluten-free.
Well, it's the whole store dedicated to gluten-free.
No, gosh, I don't want that. That's too foo-foo. I don't need that in my life. But a whole aisle is fine. I think you deserve an aisle.
I think so.
I think that's fine. So it's don't linger. And if you do,
don't linger.
Step aside to the other side of the aisle is what you should do, or away from it, at least to give people enough room to get in between to make their instant, their quick things so they know what they want. Yeah.
Yeah. Step out of the growl zone.
Correct. Do you think that aisleways should be a mandatory width in grocery stores? Should they be a little wider these days?
I think some of them should be.
Yeah. I was going to say, the store that I use, I'm very happy with their width. But there are some stores that I go to and their width is not wide enough. It's not widthy enough. And so you end up in more of those growl situations. You end up where, if I'm looking at stuff on one side of the aisle and I don't want to be rude to people there on that side, and I back up, I'm blocking people on the other side of the aisle.
Then you're in the other way. Yep.
But there's somewhere you have enough room where your cart's kind of centered and people can get access to the stuff on the right. They can pass you on the left.
Right.
There's enough room for that. And I like that in an aisle way. That's what I look for.
I almost think that we should bring back, you remember during COVID when at the grocery stores,
they're
they were
one-way.
One-way aisles?
Yes, that was fantastic.
I feel like that was actually not a bad idea.
You also didn't run into people, like coming out of the aisleway, you didn't run into people's carts all the time.
Yeah.
People
all
being
going
overly
the same
aggressive.
Way.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, no, that's a great idea. You keep the flow of traffic. Actually, it would be great if from the moment you walk into the store, it's just a bunch of, like, there's a
like
road.
The arrows.
Yes. And you just wind your way through, and you have to pass everything. You would think that would be amazing for stores.
Yeah.
Because that forces you to go.
Right,
That's why they
to
put the
look at
milk
other
at the back
things.
corners, because they know everybody needs milk. That's like the most frequently bought item. And they put it at the back of the store so you can have to go through the other things, and they hope you buy the things. So this is a great way to solve the chaos with the carts issue, stuff like that. But you still have to make the aisle wide enough where you can pass. Yeah. I want a passing lane.
Yeah. Or bump draft or something.
Yeah. So what you need is
you
need a passing lane and an idling lane.
Yeah.
I mean it.
Yeah. That could be,
So you've got the standard shopping lane. You got an idle lane.
Right.
Where that's if you need to decide what you are looking at.
Right.
You have to stop in front of the beans.
The ones that didn't make the list and the ones that did make the list.
Correct.
Because I have it all. I am so OCD with my lists. Yeah. I'm like, I know what aisle I'm going to. I know, what I'm getting, everything like that. Like, I know, I get in there and I get out.
Same. And so that's why I want the passing lane separate from the idling lane and the shopping lane. Because otherwise that would be a mess. Oh, you'd be in line with the people. And so, you should be able to pass and do that. I think we're onto something. I think it could work. At the very least,
I don't know where to go from here.
One-way aisles, at the very least. I love that idea. Bring that back. Yeah. One-way, wider aisles.
Yeah, that's the only thing I want back.
Yeah, that's it. From the COVID days.
Yeah. Only thing I would like to have back.
Golly, we're out of time, I feel like. We're at 40 minutes.
Are we?
I think so.
Okay.
We could go on. Do you have something else that you would like to talk about today? I had several things, honestly, I wanted to, but I don't know if we have time for it.
Yeah, I guess I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. This is the worst ending for a podcast ever. I guess I'm good. I think I've had enough.
Because I have other stuff too, but I don't want to take it over. You know?
Well, I understand. What I mean is any of it is it any time sensitive?
No.
Does it need to go into this podcast?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Good.
No, not time sensitive.
Then I think we can end it.
Okay.
On that note, let's go ahead and crank up the music here a little bit. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like us and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you share. If everybody shares with one friend, that would be amazing. And then we'd have 4 listeners. And that'd be a record for us.
Yeah. Share it with the people who take up all the space in the aisles at the grocery store.
You can share it with an enemy. If you can't stand listening to this show, share it with an enemy. Share it with somebody you don't like.
That's right. To the people you hate.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine too. The dollars still spend the same from your listening and viewing of this, if you hate us or love us. So please do share. That would be amazing. At Flippin' Streeter on YouTube, at Flippin' Streeter Make It Weird on YouTube is what I meant to say. At Flippin' Streeter Make It Weird everywhere. It's everywhere. Just at Flippin' Streeter Make It Weird.
Yeah.
Wherever you listen to your podcast. All right, we got to go. Any words, any departure words, any final words?
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Wait, does your mug say stay in your lane?
No, it says stay golden.
Oh, I thought your mug actually said stay in your lane. All I saw was stay. It's like, you have a mug? That's a Golden Girl mug. That's great.
Stay golden.
Great. Now I have to license that. Thanks, Flip. No, just kidding. No, don't. Don't do that. We got to go. Bye.